Welcome back to Firewalls Flashpoints, the podcast that dives into digital trenches and global fault lines. And today we are tackling a moment in history that feels less like a breakthrough and more like a collective gasp for air. We are calling it the Great Fatigue. That's right. Today, May 2026, we have seen the surreal side for a scaled-back victory day parade in Moscow, authorized by decree by Volodymyr Zelensky himself, a three-day truce, a 1,000 prisoner swap, and a world holding its breath to see if the shooting starts again tomorrow. It's a moment of profound irony. Zelensky, the man critics once called a warmonger or a gangster, is now the one issuing decrees for the safety of Moscow streets. But behind the optics, the great fatigue is real. We have seen hundreds of thousands of lives lost in Ukraine. We have seen the US hammered in the Middle East by Russian-backed Iranian tactics, and we have to ask, was this all necessary? It feels like we have reached a ceiling. We were promised that military spending would buy us security. Instead, the US is looking at a 1.5 trillion defense budget for 2027, a Department of War on steroids, while they are blocking the Straits of Hormuz and praying that negotiation by threat doesn't end the nuclear fire. So we wanted to offer a solution by asking the question to the munition firms now leading a modular energy startup, looking at the great fatigue we are in now, the stalled truces, the proxy wars. Did you only recently realize the opportunity of this new era? Or you still just looking for a more profitable way to improve the hammer because that's the only tool your industry knows how to build? It's a fair question. For years, we were blinded by cost plus contracts. We built better hammers because that's what the government ordered. But the great fatigue of 2026 has shown us that the hammer market is reaching a dead end. The real profit and the real security is in the firewalls of the future energy, health, and infrastructure. This is the core of our modern advanced way of thinking. That's the retooling solution. We don't need to destroy these companies. We need to retool them. We have the most advanced technology in human history. Why are we using it to track tanks when we could be using it to track cancer? Why are we building battleships when we could be building golden domes of energy and prosperity? We are proposing a shift from strategic interest to human advancement. If we can move the interests of the munitions lobby to better use, we aren't just calling a commercial break between wars. We are ending the season of wars entirely. And this brings us to you, our listeners. The 2027 US budget request is 1.5 trillion. They want to spend it on lethality. We want to spend it on us. Here is your mission. Contact your representative today. Tell them you want the 10% advancement pivot. Demand the 150 billion of that defense budget be delivered into the national retooling grants. Tell them you want the genius of the American military, the Europeans and the industrial complex used to rebuild our energy grids, modernize our healthcare, and fix our infrastructure. We have reached the peak of the great fatigue. We don't want a retreat that looks like defeat. We want an advancement that looks like a future. So, our call to you is stop the hammers and start the firewalls.